Eriador is a mysterious and kind of barren looking land. But is it? The ruins of the Lost Realm for the One Ring RPG, thanks to Free League, explores that land at last and bring us way closer to the worlds of Tolkien. Is this going to be worth the amount of money that you have to spend to get your hands on it? Welcome to the GMS Magazine RPG unbooking videos. Before I go into this book, I am going to acknowledge that I am wondering exactly the same thing that you're wondering right now. Is this third book in the One Ring series that Free League has sent me going to be the one that actually makes me cry? We'll see. Let's take a look at what's inside and what tells me about Eriador, which is a land that I know very, very little about, apart from what says in the back with the Dunedain and how they are dwindling. But let's look at the cover. Once again, the call to adventure is absolutely enormous. I love how firstly, Ruins of the Lost Realm fits perfectly with how this cover is going, because there is this mysterious ruin in there, and I love the way that in both subtle and not so subtle ways they have given scale to the ruins behind us. Because yes, the columns are super thick, they get lost beyond the limits and the edges of the illustration, but also we get some birds in here that, because of the thickness of the wings, they would appear to be both, because of the thickness of the wing, they would appear to be very big creatures, but because of how faded they are, they appear to be very far away. So that gives us not just a sense of the scale of the whole thing, but also the depth, how far we are. This is not that they are very thick columns or former walls, but that they are very thick and ginormously gargantuan, because they are very far away and still they are this large. And yet, in very precarious position, in darkness and on water, there go the adventurers, or whoever they are, going into the unknown of these ruins. A cover has to tell a story, and this one, without a shadow of a doubt, does that. The back, more concise, more succinct than others that we have seen, like the Moria, but nevertheless just as elegant, and tells me everything I need to know about this book and whether I will be interested in it or not. So that's great. Look inside. Okay, are we going to find another gorgeous map? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. A lot more traditional, in brackets, than the one that we saw in Moria, but again, absolutely beautiful, lovely amount of detail everywhere, and the same layout. I like that they have kept the same team of artists throughout the books, because that is helping achieve this massive visual consistency. This the visual language is retained, even though the concept art and the cover arts are being made by different people within the same group, which I do love, because it means that each member of the team is getting a chance to shine, and that to me means an awful lot. I love teamwork, and this feels very good. Relatively short table of content, because we're only going to have 3 chapters in the appendix, but the landmarks are going to have an awful lot of info, with pretty much half the book in there. So we get the introduction, the city of Tharbad, Swanfleet, Longdaer, the dwarf halls of Harmelt, the ruins of Cardolan, Erinvor, and the lowlands of Miniariath. I'm sorry if I'm butchering this, okay? These names I don't think I've ever pronounced in English before. Oh, we hear from the Black Númenóreans. On the White-Handed Saruman, raiders from Dunland, or the Shadows. Oh, okay, we get a few enemies in here. That is very good. You see, one of the reasons I like this in this illustration here is that it is mysterious. One thing about the bestiaries of Middle-earth is that they feel, to me, kind of mundane. They are like exaggerated versions of some of the creatures that we find here. Yes, of course, except, you know, dragons and so on, and the worms. But for instance, the spiders, they just feel like the nightmare of an arachnophobe. But that, I have no idea what it is, and that leaves open my imagination to add my own things to the setting, which is great, even though I know that some people would absolutely hate that, but I don't care. Same layout again, very clean, very simple, very easy on the eye. Again, a great illustration. Love the subtle hints of diversity within the illustration. And the third one, look at that. How beautifully and perfectly gives you a sense of vastness and hardship just by the tone of the colors that they have used and the perspective. It is so good. So good. And there's so many illustrations. This is a hugely long. Look at that. That's mega long. I don't think I have ever seen. I mean, I get the feeling that this bow, you know, this ribbon was going to go to a much thicker book, because this or larger book, because this is huge. No complaints. And that's it. That's what we get until we get to the back of the book. Another map. Oh, this time it's not double-sided, but we get the map of the city, or the ruins of the city, I should say, in large, thick mega paper. This is the sort of thing that me and my friends would literally put on the walls of the rooms where we used to play when we were kids. And we would use that all the time. Now, my husband would probably kill me if I blue tacked this to the wall. He said yes, through the earpiece. So I will not do it. But if I don't make a video again, you know what happened to me. But I would love to do it. And you should too. Seriously, this is some of the best quality maps. You see an awful lot of maps in an awful lot of games, and the paper is the same paper that they use on the book. This is much thicker. This is very durable. And I like this hex map as well, because this could help you immensely to plan your journey, which is good. And finally, how hex scrolls are a lot easier to use when you want to plan a long journey than squares. Have you noticed that? Well, it works. So, although it is not as ambitious as Moria, and although it didn't make me cry as you hoped it would at the beginning, and so did I, but this is actually a very interesting looking book. It feels a bit more classic-y in the sense that it contains everything in a relatively smaller space, and is leaving a lot more to the imagination The scale is more to the imagination of the player or the Loremaster. Everything's a bit more vague, which, considering that Eriador is, I don't know, perhaps less well explored than other lands in like Rohan or, you know, whatever in the Northern Rings. Just said Rohan because it's one of the names I know. Don't hate me. I wonder if that has been, well, I'm sure that it will have been on purpose, but I will wonder what will be the difference between the reading Moria and reading this. I will find out when I get to it, and I will indeed let you know. But I mean, you can let me know now if you want to, if you've already read this, and tell me. I don't care about the spoilers. I'm going to read it anyway, so talk to me. Let me know what you think. And until the next time, as always, thank you so much for being there, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.